Now let us solve number 9. A dome is to be constructed with the region of intersection of y is equal to x squared plus 1 and x plus y is equal to 3, being the base of the dome. In short, kung ano man yung region between these two functions, that will be our base of the dome. And then the volume can be obtained by establishing infinitely many semicircles with the plane area perpendicular to the y-axis. So having this area perpendicular to the y-axis, so therefore yung ating general equation would be v is equal to the integral from a to b, and then you have a of y dy. Okay, and then what should be the volume of the dome? So that is a question. So I'm going to use GeoGebra to accurately plot, draw the curve, and as you can see here, this is the curve. And ano ba yung pinagkaiba nito mga volume na to with the rest that we have already solved? Now this volume is actually hindi sila nire-revolve. Nagagawa tayo ng mga certain plane surfaces, and then we try to create the volume from those plane surfaces that we have. So I'll be needing this to have it on its 3D plane. So gagawin ko muna itong 3D. Hopefully ay ma-visualize natin ng maayos. So you could see it from here na ito yung ating 3D plane or the 3D equation for this graph. Medyo siya, medyo ayan. Okay, so ito yung 3D niya. Pati tayo makapag-scale. So anyway, this is the 3D. And ano ba yung pinagkaiba na to? So wala tayong rotation, pero we have to create semicircles that are actually perpendicular to the y-axis. So in short, if we want to draw a circle around here, so halimbawa gusto kong maggawa ng circle. So parang magkakaroon ka ng semicircle that is actually parallel to the this plane. So parang ganyan siya, oh. Yan yung mga semicircles na gagawin natin up to the point na maging dome itong ating figure. So hopefully na-recognize yung concept niya. So parang ganyan siya. Okay? And then syempre pag tinignan natin yung totoong view niya, which is yun nga yung kanyang nakaganyan siya. So technically makikita mo lang dun sa top view niya would be parang dire-diretso lang to. So hopefully na visualize yung idea na yun. So ganun siya. Hindi ko kasi kayang i-ano dito kasi walang option for that. So ganun yung concept natin. So if you take one circle from this, so for example, kinuha natin tong circle na to, which is kapag kinuha natin yung other view niya, that is parang ganyan siya. Okay? This length is actually the diameter of that semicircle. And that extends up to the way to this point, di ba? That is, of course, yung diameter niya would always be the difference between these two parang parts ng ating curve. And remember, kapag meron tayong ganito, we have to express that in terms of y, di ba? That is just simply the difference between the two x's. So that means na we can express this in terms of y. So that is x would be equal to y minus 1, and that is the square root of y minus 1. That's plus minus square root of y minus 1. And then the difference between these, so the diameter would be equal to the right side, so that's the positive y minus 1, and then minus the negative, so that's plus square root of y minus 1. Therefore, the diameter is 2 square root of y minus 1. And since we need the radius, because remember, the formula for the volume is actually a to b, and then a of y and then dy. So we have to make sure that we're doing the area, or we're using the formula for the area of this particular curve. So the area using this semicircle, we know quite well that the area is actually pi r squared, and then of course 1/2 of that area of the semicircle. So utilizing this r, and we know quite well that this r is just half of the diameter, that is square root of y minus 1. Therefore, the equation for the area would be equal to our 1/2 pi of r squared, so that's y minus 1 dy. No dy yet. So this is our formula for the area using the semicircle as our plane region, diba? This is yung ating formula. But this is just true for this value going upwards. Kasi remember, dito sa portion na to, upwards, ang difference na is not the parabola itself, but this line minus this part of the parabola. So remember, this is a combination of two volumes. Yung una natin is yung volume na obtain natin when we try to have all the semicircles dito lang sa parabola na to. And then the other one is this part of the volume wherein syempre yung ating diameter would be the difference, always the difference between this line and then the parabola. So with this, this is the expression for the first volume. Well, the second one, so let's have this as a1y. And then, ano ba yung ating area 2? So, di ba, the diameter is this distance here and then minus the portion of the parabola. So that is simply you express this in terms of y, so that's x equal to 3 minus y, so that is 3 minus y minus the negative, so that is plus square root of y minus 1. Okay, and in this case, our area 2 of y is equal to, so this is diameter, we have to make sure that this in terms of 1/2 of that, so that's 1/2, so 1/2 pi, and then times 1/2 of 3 minus y minus or plus square root of y minus 1. Okay? So, yung r nito would be 1/2 3 minus y plus square root of y minus 1. Okay, so hopefully nakasunod kayo dun sa ating area 1, area 2. Therefore, the total volume for this case would be, for volume 1, we have yung area natin, that's 1/2 pi y minus 1 dy, but the only thing that we need to find here is are the limits of integration. So how do we find the limits of integration in this case? Kailangan natin is yung y value. So ano ba yung y value nito? So let's take a look back at this figure. So hindi ko kasi pwedeng i-move kasi mawawala yung ating say shaded region. So burahin ko na lang, and then let's take a look at the graph here. Dun sa ito. So, mapapansin nyo, from this, it can be observed na yung ating y is equal to 1, going 1 to 2. So, therefore, the limits of integration would be just 1, 2. Pwede nyo naman din siyang solve by equating. So, dito, ginawa ko lang by inspection. Kasi kita naman na siya. And then, yung sunod nating volume would be from 2, diba? This is 2 going to positive 5. Okay? So, that is 2 to 5. And then, your equation is this one. 1/2 pi. And then, that is 1/2, parang di kakasya to, 3 minus y plus square root of y minus 1. Okay? dy. And then, you can now integrate this. So, upon integration, so the answer here is 1/4 pi. So, for that, the volume is equal to 1/4 pi, pero di pa yung tapos, meron pa isa tayong volume dito. So the answer upon squaring this is 131/240. So that's 131/240 pi. And then the total volume would be, of course, adding yung 1/4 pi natin. So this gives me 191/240 pi cubic units. Okay? So, paki-correct na lang nasa handout nyo kasi I think the answer there is 191/60 ata yan. Okay, so paki-correct na lang, that should be 240. So, ayun. And I think, ayun, ganito yung approach natin for this kind of problem na we're determining the volume of a certain plane region that moves towards a certain value perpendicular to a certain axis. Okay, and yung last item dito, sabi dito is 7, but it is actually 9. So, paki-correct nyan. So the same region of intersection as number 9 was used, and then the plane area perpendicular to the y-axis is changed from semicircles to rectangles. So if you try to go back here and then tingnan ulit natin yung figure, kasi diba before I try to use yung parang semicircles, diba? Pero ngayon kasi, since it's already stated, we'll be using rectangles naman. Or, tama, rectangles. So, pag rectangles ang gagawin mo, parang meron ka dyang mga rectangles dyan, nalapat siya dun sa inyong pinaka-base. So, halimbawa, ito yun. So, yung perspective nito medyo iba, pero ang idea is ganito. So, meron kang rectangle dyan, and then thrice nito yung kanyang length. So, parang, sorry, yung kanyang taas pala. So, pwedeng ganyan siya. Abay talaga namang. So, yan. Parang ito yun ay, ito, 3 times the length. And then ito yung length ko. Or the width pa, kung ano man yun, kung anong designation mo. So, pag we move farther away dito, so, syempre, mas lalaki na yung rectangle natin na yan. So, ganun yung concept nito, no? So, what if ito daw yung ginamit mo instead of semicircles? So, what could be the area? So, ganun lang din naman yung concept. Just find or determine yung length natin, which is just the difference between these two curves, and then just apply the same concept. So, yung sagot dyan is 191/10. So, yun talaga yun. Wala dyang error. Okay, so that's it for your volume or solid of revolution. So, natakalan naman natin lahat dito, yung theorem of Pappus, yung nagre-revolve tayo sa axis, and then dun sa, wala mismo siya sa axis, and then finally this plane region that moves to a certain degree. So, let's move naman dun sa ating tinatawag na arc length and surface of revolution.